expresses these ideas through verses.
Yes.
These really profound reflections on life, survival, and the nature of change. So it's not about receiving divine messages.
Right.
It's about making meaning out of chaos.
Love that. The verses are so powerful because they are rooted in Lauren's lived experiences.
Right.
They reflect.
Welcome to Witter. Who Has Time to Read? The podcast that brings deep dives for busy minds. Listen to AI hosts Jane and Dane and get ready to unpack the world's most captivating books in just a fraction of the time. Whether commuting, working out, or just squeezing in a quick break, we deliver key insights, thought-provoking themes, and takeaways you can carry into your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Plus, use our links in the description to purchase this book. Your support helps us bring more engaging book discussions to you. Listen and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Who has time to read? You do, with Witter.
Welcome back to Witter, your shortcut to deep dives for busy minds.
I like that.
We're continuing our Black Voices series for Black History Month.
Nice.
And this week, we're going to be exploring Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower.
A really good book.
So have you ever felt like the world was on the brink of something huge?
Yeah.
Something maybe unsettling?
For sure.
That's the world Butler throws you into.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not some far-off fantasy future.
Right.
Butler sets Parable of the Sower in a 2024 America that's ravaged by climate change, social unrest, and economic collapse.
Right.
But what makes this book so compelling is that it doesn't just paint a picture of dystopia. It digs into the resilience of the human spirit, particularly within the Black community.
You'll immediately notice how Butler's 2024 feels eerily familiar.
Oh, for sure.
Walled communities are the norm because the outside world is just too dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
Water is scarce. Resources are dwindling.
Yep.
And there's a constant threat of violence.
Yes.
It really makes you question, how far off are we from this reality ourselves?
Oh, it does. It makes you think a lot about that. That's the genius of Butler's work, I think. She takes present-day anxieties, and then she extrapolates them to create a world that feels both shocking and disturbingly plausible.
Yeah.
And it forces us to confront some uncomfortable truths about our own society.
Absolutely.
And the choices we are making today.
Yeah, and within this world, we meet our protagonist, Lauren Olamina.
Yes.
A young Black woman who lives with her family in one of these walled communities. But Lauren isn't just any teenager trying to survive. She has hyperempathy syndrome.
Whoa.
Which means she physically feels the pain and sensations of others.
Yeah, that's something else.
I don't know about you, but that concept just blew my mind.
Oh, yeah. It really challenges our ideas of individuality, doesn't it?
It does.
Imagine feeling the joy and the suffering of everyone around you.
I can't even.
It would fundamentally change how you interact with the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It would make you incredibly sensitive to the suffering around you.
Totally.
But also incredibly vulnerable in a world filled with so much pain.
For sure. And that vulnerability is really central to Lauren's journey.
Right.
You know, she's not a superhero.
Nope.
She's just a young woman.
Yeah.
Grappling with this condition that both empowers and isolates her. And through this struggle, she develops Earthseed.
Wow, Earthseed.
A new belief system.
Okay.
Centered around the idea that God is change.
So this is where things start to get really interesting.
It is.
Instead of clinging to traditional religious structures, Lauren creates Earthseed based on her observations of the changing world around her.
That's right.
So it's about adaptation.
Right.
It's about taking responsibility for shaping change.
Yes.
Rather than being consumed by it.
It's a good way to look at it. Earthseed really challenges the listener to rethink their own beliefs.
Oh, yeah.
If the world as we know it is collapsing, what new ways of thinking, what new sources of hope might emerge?
That's deep. And she expresses these ideas through verses.
Yes.
These really profound reflections on life, survival, and the nature of change. So it's not about receiving divine messages.
Right.
It's about making meaning out of chaos.
Love that. The verses are so powerful because they are rooted in Lauren's lived experiences.
Right.
They reflect the harsh realities of her world while also offering a path toward transformation and growth.
But it's not just about individual survival.
No, it's not.
One of the things that really struck me is the emphasis on community in Parable of the Sower.
Yes.
Even in the midst of this breakdown, people find solace and strength in forming bonds with one another.
Oh, for sure. It speaks to the importance of collective action, of shared responsibility, particularly within the Black community. You know, it's this idea that we're stronger together, that we can overcome even the toughest challenges.
Absolutely.
Through unity and mutual support.
And this idea of community ties directly into Lauren's development of Earthseed.
Oh, how so?
Well, it's not just a personal philosophy.
Yeah.
It's something she wants to share to build a new kind of community around.
That's really interesting. And that's a recurring theme we see in a lot of Black literature, right?
Yeah.
This idea that community is not just a source of comfort, but a vital tool for survival, for resistance, for creating change.
Early on in the book, there's a pretty brutal scene involving a dog attack.
Okay. Yeah.
That really foreshadows the dangers lurking outside the walls of Lauren's community.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder of the constant threat of violence and the vulnerability of those trying to survive.
Yeah. That scene is so powerful because it throws you right into the harsh realities of this world. It makes you question, how would you react in a situation like that? What lengths would you go to protect yourself and the people that you care about? And this attack, it forces us to confront a question at the heart of the book.
Yeah.
How far are we willing to go to protect what we hold dear? Because for Lauren, staying within the confines of her community eventually becomes impossible.
Right.
She starts to realize that clinging to the known might not be enough in a world that's changing so rapidly.
Right, yeah. It's like she understands on a deeper level that the old ways of doing things are crumbling.
Yeah.
And something new needs to emerge.
Yeah. Does that resonate with you at all? That feeling of knowing you have to make a change?
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's scary.
Absolutely. I think we've all felt that pull at some point in our lives. But Lauren takes it to a whole other level. She's gathering supplies. She's learning survival skills. She's even burying necessities in case they need to escape quickly.
Talk about a proactive approach to the apocalypse.
I know, right?
It's fascinating how Butler contrasts Lauren's forward thinking with her father's desire for stability. He represents the old way of thinking, clinging to the familiar, while Lauren embraces the uncertainty of the future.
Yeah, it's almost like a generational clash.
It is.
A struggle between holding on to the past and adapting to a rapidly changing world. And this conflict isn't just personal. It mirrors the larger societal breakdown happening around them.
Exactly. You see it in the collapse of institutions, the rise of violence, the desperation of people struggling to survive. It really makes you question what happens to our sense of morality when the world as we know it falls apart.
And eventually the unthinkable happens. Lauren's community is attacked. Her family is scattered and she's forced to flee. With just a handful of survivors.
That's awful. It's a brutal turning point in the story. One that forces her to confront the harsh realities of the world outside the walls.
And she's not just dealing with physical dangers.
No.
Imagine the emotional toll of losing your home, your community, possibly even members of your family.
Oh, absolutely. It's a profound exploration of loss, grief, and trauma, but it's also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit.
Yeah, even in the face of unimaginable tragedy, Lauren finds the strength to keep going, to rebuild, to create something new.
And Earthseed becomes her compass. Her guiding light in this darkness.
It helps her navigate this dangerous landscape, make difficult choices. And ultimately, it offers her a sense of hope.
And it's not just hope for herself. Remember, Lauren is on a mission to spread the teachings of Earthseed. To build a new community based on its principles.
And as she journeys north, she gathers a small band of fellow travelers. People who are also searching for meaning and connection in this broken world.
But it's important to note that this journey is not without its challenges. They face constant threats from the environment, from other survivors, even from within their own group.
Wow.
It's a reminder that building something new,
Right.
even something as hopeful as an Earthseed community,
Yeah.
is a messy and complex process.
And they're constantly forced to make difficult choices.
They are.
Choices that challenge their own sense of morality and push them to their limits.
It really makes you think about the compromises we might have to make in a world where survival is at stake.
Right. How do we hold on to our values when the world around us is falling apart?
Exactly.
How do we balance the need for individual survival
Right.
with the desire to build a more just and compassionate community?
Yeah.
These are questions that Butler forces us to grapple with.
She does.
And Lauren, as the leader of this fledgling community,
Yeah.
has to bear the weight of these decisions.
It's a heavy burden for anyone, let alone a young woman who's also trying to process her own trauma and grief.
Right. And it's through this struggle, through this constant negotiation between her ideals and the realities of her world, that Lauren's character truly shines.
She doesn't have all the answers, but she's willing to ask the tough questions, to make mistakes, and to keep pushing forward even when things feel impossible.
There's this one passage where she says, "We are Earthseed. We are flesh and blood, and we are more.
Yeah.
We are the change." It's a powerful statement about taking ownership of your destiny.
It is.
About recognizing that we have the power to shape the future, even in the darkest of times.
That idea of agency, of self-determination, is so crucial to understanding the Black experience.
Right.
It's about refusing to be defined by circumstances. Absolutely.
About actively shaping your own narrative.
Yeah.
Even when the world tries to tell you who you are and what you can be.
And Parable of the Sower goes beyond simply showcasing resilience.
It does.
It's about transforming pain into purpose.
Yeah.
About using your experiences to create something better.
Yeah.
Not just for yourself, but for the community around you.
It's a testament to the strength and vision of Black women, particularly in times of crisis. They are often the ones leading the charge for change, for justice, for a better world.
And Octavia Butler gives us such a powerful example of that leadership.
She does.
And Lauren Olamina.
Absolutely.
She's not just surviving, she's thriving.
Yes.
She's building something new, something rooted in hope and possibility, even in the face of overwhelming adversity.
And her story reminds us that we all have the potential to be change makers.
That's a good point.
We all have the capacity to imagine and create a better future.
No matter how challenging the present may seem.
Now, I'm curious, what resonated most with you about Lauren's journey? Was it her resilience, her vision, or perhaps her unwavering belief in the power of change?
For me, it's her willingness to embrace the unknown.
Okay.
She doesn't shy away from the challenges ahead. She leans into them, knowing that growth and transformation often happen outside of our comfort zones.
That's such an important point.
It is.
It's easy to get caught up in the fear and uncertainty of change.
Yeah.
But Parable of the Sower reminds us that it's often in those moments of discomfort that we discover our true strength and potential. And that brings us back to why we're exploring Parable of the Sower during Black History Month.
Right.
Octavia Butler wasn't just a science fiction writer.
No.
She was a visionary who used her work to explore complex social and political issues, often through the lens of the Black experience. What stands out to you about her impact on the genre?
What's remarkable is how Butler anticipated so many of the challenges that we're facing today, like climate change, social inequality, the search for meaning in a world that feels increasingly chaotic.
It's true.
She was writing about these things decades ago.
Right.
And her insights are even more relevant now.
It's like she was holding up a mirror to society.
She was.
Forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and the world we're creating.
Exactly. And she did it with such nuance and complexity.
Yeah.
Creating characters who are flawed and relatable and deeply human.
Right.
You know, she didn't offer easy answers or simplistic solutions.
No.
Instead, she invited us to grapple with the messy realities of our world.
Right.
And to imagine different possibilities.
So if someone asked you, why should I care about a dystopian novel written over 30 years ago? What would your response be?
I'd say Parable of the Sower is more than just a story. It's a call to action. It reminds us that we have a responsibility to create a better future. Right. To harness the power of empathy, community, and hope to shape change in a world that desperately needs it.
I love how she weaves those things throughout the narrative.
Me too.
It's not just about surviving the apocalypse.
No.
It's about what kind of world we want to build on the other side.
And for Butler, that world is one where Black voices are centered, where their experiences and perspectives are valued,
Right.
and where their agency is undeniable.
As we wrap up this deep dive into Parable of the Sower,
Okay.
let's take a moment to reflect on the richness and diversity of Black literature as a whole.
Yes.
Think about the authors whose work has impacted you.
Okay.
Who are some other Black authors whose stories have resonated with you?
There are so many. From the lyrical prose of Toni Morrison
Yes!
to the searing social commentary of James Baldwin,
Oh, yeah.
from Colson Whitehead's masterful storytelling
I love it.
to N.K. Jemison's breathtaking world building.
Wow.
The list goes on and on.
It does. And each of these authors offers a unique perspective on the Black experience,
They do.
challenging us to think critically about issues of race,
Yeah,
identity, justice, and the human condition.
exactly. So as we continue to celebrate Black History Month, let's make a conscious effort to seek out and amplify
Yes.
the voices of Black authors.
Great idea.
Their stories have the power to enlighten, inspire, and transform us.
And maybe, just maybe, we'll discover our next favorite book along the way.
I hope so.
Be sure to share your recommendations with us on social media.
Yes,
And stay tuned for more deep dives into thought-provoking books
absolutely.
right here on Witter.
Can't wait.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening to Witter, Who Has Time to Read, produced by One Media. Please support the author by purchasing the book or audiobook using the link in the description. It's a great way to help keep the art of writing alive. And stay in the loop. Subscribe to our newsletter for updates on weekly deep dives. And don't forget to share your thoughts or suggest our next deep dive at witterpodcast@gmail.com.